September 5 is a historical drama thriller, directed, co-produced, and co-written by Tim Fellbaum, starring Peter Sarsgaard, John Magaro, Ben Chaplin, and Leonie Benesch. During the 1972 Munich Olympics, an American sports broadcasting crew finds itself thrust into covering a hostage crisis involving Israeli athletes. This review will be spoiler-free. Nominated for Best Original Screenplay at this year's Academy Awards, September 5 is based on the true story of the first ever live news coverage of an act of terrorism. The hostage situation depicted in the film occurred during the 1972 Summer Olympics in Munich. The film makes extensive use of archival footage from ABC's coverage. Fellbaum and his team spent months researching the events and worked with a production design team to create an authentic replica of the broadcasting facility used by ABC Sports on that day. The control room certainly feels claustrophobic and closed off. The film is almost entirely a chamber piece. The dark lighting makes it feel ominous and isolating. You feel locked in with the characters in a way where time doesn't really concern you. The actors do a great job of conveying the urgency of a situation like this. It feels like real time. These characters are used to covering sports. This is bigger than anything they've ever done, and they are making decisions that are new to them. However, they feel an obligation to cover what is happening, only a short distance from their studio. Some of the reporters may have been destined to cover something like this. These performances are nuanced, showing the state of mind that these people were in. They don't have time to think. Peter Sarsgaard gets top billing, but his role is slightly smaller than you might expect. Sarsgaard plays Rooney Arledge, the president of ABC Sports, so he is coming in and out of the room, making a lot of the executive decisions. Sarsgaard is a very underrated actor. I've been a big fan of his for a long time. If you've never seen Shattered Glass from 2003, he plays a similar role in that. It's a great film that I may have to do a video on one day, as it is underrated. Sarsgaard received a Golden Globe nomination for Best Supporting Actor for that film, where he starred alongside Hayden Christensen, who is fantastic in it. I'm going off on a tangent there. I just think that Shattered Glass is a really cool film that is worth watching. John Magaro was fantastic in past lives, and here he plays Jeffrey Mason, the head of the control room in Munich. Mason is the real lead here, taking up the most screen time and being left to direct much of the broadcast and make risky decisions on the fly. Ben Chaplin plays Marvin Bader, the head of operation at ABC Sports, and he does a good job supporting Magaro. The great Leonie Benesch came to my attention in the recent film The Teacher's Lounge, and she plays my favorite character here, Marianne Gebhardt, a translator for the crew who speaks German and Hebrew. She is the character that the audience feels the most connected to and has the most empathy for, at least in my case. She feels a deeper connection to the situation at hand and is an unsung hero at times, possessing the wit and knowledge to get things done when needed. If you don't know Leonie Benesch, you should check out The Teacher's Lounge. I have a review for it on my channel. For anyone who does not know how the situation went down in 1972, I will not spoil the film. As I was not born then, I had very little knowledge of it, and so I did not know how it ended. I can only imagine what it must have felt like, being one of the 900 million people who watched this on TV as it unfolded. The film wasn't directed in a dramatic and exploitative way. It was restrained, almost like a documentary. This style doesn't always lend itself to entertainment value, but when looking at this as a historical film, it works well. The runtime is a sharp 94 minutes, and I was engaged from start to end. At times, I did wish that the score was more prominent, but I understand that the filmmakers didn't want to make a spectacle out of this story. Even with the restrained style, I felt the emotional weight of a handful of moments to a sizable degree, with a few moments in Act 3 hitting quite hard. There are some heavy emotions that need to be conveyed by the actors through very subtle body language and facial expressions, and they all pull it off swimmingly. Because it is only depicting what went on in the ABC studio, the film doesn't have much to say about the racial politics surrounding the conflict. However, it does illustrate just how long these issues have been going on, and for many young people today, that may be a valuable thing to consider, as we seem to be living in this age of social media where everyone wants to preach about complex issues in a black and white manner as if it's just a trend to be hopped on. This isn't the best film of its genre, a genre that I am actually a really big fan of when done exceptionally well. It can be riveting. However, this film feels as though it respects the real people that it is depicting and appears to be an accurate representation of what happened to them that day. The film is shot digitally, but it has a grainy look that is reminiscent of the era, and the color grade evokes the 70s with an emphasis on brown and blue tones. This is a film that is worth watching for the solid performances and the historical significance of its intense story. Check it out if you're interested.